Good morning, witches. As you can see, I had the uncontrollable urge to rearrange my entire room and filming space yesterday. So here we are. Hi, how are we doing this morning? I can't believe it's already Friday. Like, this week has gone by so quickly, and yet at the same time, I have gotten so much done in just this week. I mean, as soon as Silver uh, went back, like blah, 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 blah. Silver, one of the members of the Unbound, was here at Weirdbrook for a couple of weeks, and we're working on some collaborative projects and stuff and things. And so when they left, I just kind of like poured myself into the projects that I have going on outside. I'm turning the whole front lawn into a permaculture food forest, and I'm starting with hugelkultur beds. Morgana's been saving cardboard for probably a couple of years now, putting it in the shed. And so I'm using that. So that's what I did a lot yesterday is I started these hugelkultur beds. Well, I didn't start them. I started some of them. One of the elements of a hugelkultur bed is a bunch of dead and rotting wood. And so we've been going up into the forest that's on the property and just cleaning up the dead and decaying things off of the forest floor, and that's the base of these beds. So I've been all up in it, and it's been wonderful. But it feels like the time has just gone by so quickly. I hand shoveled 2 yards of like soil for the garden beds the other day all by myself. And I thought for sure that I was gonna be hurting after doing that, but I was, like, paying close attention to my body, and I've done a lot of physical therapy and since the last time I worked that hard, and I'm not sore at all. I have gotten so much stronger since living on this homestead. It's mind-boggling. I feeling pretty great right now. And in fact, when I'm done with this reading, that's kind of what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day is working on those beds. I've had a lot of requests for like a tour of what I'm doing, so I'm going to be filming that as well. But before we do that, we're going to be doing this divination ceremony. We're asking specifically, where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion in our relationship with our life and our practice? This is a collective reading. You are welcome to join in. You are just as much a part of this process as I am. And we do this every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can make this a part of your personal divination practice. This reading is specially curated for neurodivergent, black sheep, cycle breaking weirdos, witches. I'm going to start by taking 3 deep breaths, and then I'm going to do what I do to get my system prepared for divination. And then we're going to shuffle, and it's going to be great. So here we go. Hello, hello. I humbly invite all that is fire within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is air within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is earth within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I humbly invite all that is water within this system to witness this working. And if alignment is found, may you choose to bless this flow. I beckon to this system. May we now align as one, For my cousins are the elements, and so the moon and sun. I call to those who love me. You are welcome in this space. For our nature is united, sharing magic, life, and grace. And now we make a declaration of intention. What are we doing? I choose now in this moment to align with my whole self, to pull the book that tells my story from its place upon the shelf. I enter now this circle made of trust and hope and power, and I show up for my practice in this place and at this hour. Because I am home. Just so you know, guys, because I moved like everything around, I'm probably going to suck at keeping things framed, like in frame. So just for a little bit, though, I catch on pretty quickly. Mm, good. I got new tea. And again, the question we're asking is, where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion in our relationship with our life and our practice? There's Baxter. His best friend, Beastie, is on that chair that he's jumping up in. It's like, what the hell? What are you doing in my room? All right. Put the incense out because all right, this is a 2-card draw. The card on the top of the deck represents the answer to our question, where does our attention need to be today in order to bring the most expansion in our relationship with our life and our practice? The card on the bottom of the deck represents what we're in resistance to or in denial of that is blocking our stuff. How are we getting in our own way? Can you say damn on YouTube? I should look these up instead of, like, asking when we're live. I know. I just I can say damn. Ooh, the power. Okay. We drew the King of Swords. Let's give it a second to focus in. I'm going to read that prompt that's on the card without influencing your interpretation or initial interpretation of what this card, like, means to you. All right? The King of Swords is showing you that you are in command of your truth, and you stand to present yourself with confidence and conviction. Others respect you and pay close attention to what you have to say. The appearance of this card may also suggest that you need a mentor, perhaps a financial advisor or a lawyer. And the reverse of this is, remember, the loudest one in the room is often the weakest one in the room. Be careful that you're not misusing your power. Be cognizant of the greater good and careful that you're not using your intellect to make others feel inferior. You may be feeling lost about your understanding or options in a situation as well. Be careful that you're not stagnant because progress can't happen if you're standing still. So think on it. Brew on that, witches. I too will brew, and then we're going to talk about it. All right. Are we ready to talk about it yet? Yeah. So for me, the kind of highlighted feeling is relationship with authority, but not necessarily other, like, authority figures, more your own authority. What is your relation? Do you know what it is to be in your own authority? Not like abstract, like, what does that mean to you? So, like, especially since we have been asked to look at this choice and how we're investing our physical, mental, and emotional labor this year. What are we investing? What are we choosing to invest in? What reality do we want to live in, and choosing to participate in that reality rather than uh, continuing to invest in a reality that is so dependent on, like, the subjugation of others. Oh my God, I have cat hair. Anyway, so we've been talking about this like choice since January, and last week it was like, all right, what is it? What is it? Let's do it. Let's do the thing, right? And this card feels like uh, I get this, like, imagery of, like, a wise old, like, mentor, right? Coming, walking up to you and putting their hand on your shoulder and telling you to, trust in your authority. You have this mantle of authority that you can make change. You can create the life that you want. And then a gentle reminder that others see this, they recognize the authority that you are now like stepping into. And that in itself is a sort of responsibility. And so, not that we are responsible for, other people's decisions that they make in their life or how they feel about things. That's not necessarily what I'm saying. But but remember that your words bear weight, is what I'm saying. Your words bear weight. When you are in your authority, you attract attention. And so just be aware of that. Uh, and and be aware of how you want to exercise your authority. Okay? You can be in your own authority and not make someone else feel less than. That is a hierarchical, dominion focused perspective to do that. And if your inclination is to um, engage with other people as if they are less than because you are in your authority, asking yourself, like, where does that come from? Why do I do that? Is that really in your best interest? Like, is that how you would want to be engaged with? This really is a engage with others how you want to be engaged with, and your life will adjust accordingly. Reality isn't as fixed as you have been made to believe. Reality is wibbly wobbly, and every time you make a choice, it adjusts the flow of the reality that you are in experiencing. It's really important that you remember that. Okay. What are we in resistance to or in denial of, my friend? The Nine of Cups reversed. I'll show you the card. This is the card. I'm going to read that. You may have gotten something you've always wanted, and it just wasn't what you expected. Maybe you're struggling to get somewhere and you're not making any progress. Your self-esteem has taken a hit, and your desires are a never-ending black hole. Maybe you need to focus on quality over quantity. Remember, this is what you're in resistance to or in denial of. Nine of Cups upright is you've struggled with finding purpose and comfort after a loss. This journey has been long and arduous, but you finally reached a point where you're feeling joy again. Profound happiness is in your future. Now is a great time to chase any dreams you've had. Again, what you're in resistance to or in denial of. I'm trying not to influence you with my face, but I can't make this shit up. It's so good. So are we brewing? We're brewing. We're brewing. Are we ready? And I love that this is happening right like before a new moon. This isn't necessarily a be careful what you wish for kind of vibe. Uh, it's more that you are in denial of the fact that what you wish for, what you long for, bears a lot of weight. It influences your reality. When you are manifesting, when you are calling something into your life, you got to know what you want. You got to know what you're asking for too. Because a lot of us, before we have actually done and embodied the work of deconstruction and decolonization, what we wish for is usually things that further entrap us in the very system that rejected us in the first place, because we were never taught to want anything else. And that's what this card kind of feels like, is that it's you wish for this thing, but it's not what you think it is. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm careful about the questions that I ask. Why I ask, if you had your like a place to live and food in your belly, that was, and healthcare, right? If you, those things were taken care of, what would you do with your time? What would you want to do with your time? What would your life like look like? When you manifest from that place rather than centering capitalism in the way that we're taught to do, we align our wishes based on material wealth or like material success, driving fancy cars that you then have to pay a bunch of insurance on, and then the expensive gas, and then the repairs are horribly expensive, and then you have like, that's the careful what you wish for. A Lamborghini is a lot more expensive than you think that it is. It's not just about the thing, it's about what it costs you to be responsible for the thing. So as you are thinking about your, and it's interesting that this question of what is wish fulfillment to you? Like, what is that? When you, if you had your wildest dreams come true, what would that look like? And what's the reality of that situation, right? If your dream is to have a great big huge house with like rolling hills of grass and like a big farm and everything, have you thought about what it takes to be responsible for that? Is that really what you want? So this is important. It's important to consider this. And so in order for you to fully step into your authority, you got to look at your relationship. What do you want? Authority for what? This is pokey, huh? This is pokey. This is pokey, guys. I feel like it is. I think it's important to check in with yourself with things like this. Yeah, this is a great reading, guys. It really is. It might be time to play the like 3 wishes game. Right? So if you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for? Be very specific, right? Be very specific, right? So actually, better yet, get yourself a big piece of paper. You can use a small piece of paper. I'm a big fan of writing big ideas on big pieces of cardboard because I've had a lot of cardboard laying around. So I can make it as big as I want. Write your 3 wishes. And then around them in little bubbles, write what it's going to take to be responsible for each of those. What comes with that even, right? So this isn't a guilt or shame, or this isn't a, hey, you're doing it wrong. This is a, hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and make some adjustments, because there's a really great new moon like Is it tonight? I think it's tonight. It was yesterday. Are we all up in it? Tomorrow. Ocean's like trying to you can voice of God it if you want. Yeah. So it's very soon. It's tomorrow. So you have some time to think about this. What do you want in this life? Okay. Boom. I think that's it. My sun is in Taurus, the Gemini rising, though. All right, guys. That's our reading. I don't have any questions, comments. It was so fast. That was really fast. Trying to think, did I forget something? No, I've done all the things. All right, guys. Let's close out this working. I'm going to be back tomorrow, which is Saturday. And also know that on Saturday is the live recording of Wisdom in the Weave, the podcast that the Unbound Witches of the Resource Project do for everyone. It's available on Spotify, and you can participate live by going into the app space that we created and RSVPing to the event so that you can join us in the live stream to ask questions. We're going to be talking about manifestation, actually. So, and your relationship with manifestation. So that's going to be fun. All right. Hand on your heart. Take a deep breath. This working is now closing, but the magic has just begun. I humbly thank the elements and both the moon and sun. To all who chose to bless this flow, I now sincerely thank you. May our practice be expansive and our course be clear and true. All right. Remember, if you can't be good at it. Bye.